Let's talk about game for a second. How do you think game has changed in the past 5-7 years?
I think Instagram is the number one thing that nobody talks about in the dating space, and how it's completely changed everything. It's globalized the sexual dating market. If you were a beautiful girl from Moldova 10 years ago, you were trying to get the most desired guy in your town in Moldova. If you're a beautiful girl from Moldova now, you're on a yacht in Dubai because some sheikh has inboxed you because you have 250,000 followers. The whole sexual marketplace has been globalized to the point where anyone who's genuinely a 9 or a 10, you can look at these girls and you look and you see their travel schedule. You're talking about $1 million a year, the place these girls are going. They ain't got a job. And it's easy for everyone to go, oh, they're prostitutes. You know what? In my experience, and I have extensive experience with many of these girls, they're not prostitutes. They just get fucking irresistible offers. Hey, do you want to come to Dubai? No, I don't want to be left with you. It's creepy. Okay, bring 5 of your friends. Here's a hotel room. Here's a return flight so you know you can get home okay. Here's a rental car. We'll meet for dinner on one of the days. Maybe we'll get along. Maybe we won't. These sheikhs will blow 30 grand and fly her and all her friends out just to see, and then they'll have one date and then they don't get along, and they don't care. The money being thrown around at these chicks, it doesn't matter to them. So these girls at that kind of level, I mean, I was in, like I said, I live in Romania. Next door is Moldova. It's the poorest country in Europe. I know girls there who are traveling the entire world. Instagram has changed the game, and it's changed it to a point where the idea of some 10 who's like humble and doesn't really know her own value and just wants a nice man, that is long gone. These girls know exactly.
You're saying because they can get the attention on Instagram?
Because they get unlimited attention on Instagram. So I'll tell you my girl's Instagram right now. You can go to Cobra MFC, at Cobra MFC. She has 65,000 followers. Her Instagram is on my phone. She gets a message every 3 to 4 minutes. All day, every day. Yeah. From verified Instagrams, NFL stars, NBA players, singers in Mexico no one's ever heard of.
Wow.
But like it's non-stop. Now she's with me because she loves me, but my point is this. If you're a single girl nowadays, your choice, it's the same as anything, bro. If you go into the supermarket and I give you 100 flavors of yogurt to choose between, you're going to be picky. Like, I get to have one of these 100. What's this one? What's that one? What's this one? It's just how it goes. Instagram has made the whole game.
But what about for the women who are not on Instagram? The ones that are still attractive and not on Instagram?
Does that exist?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean,
it's a good question.
I've met a lot of pretty girls, and the real pretty ones, have I ever met one who's not got Instagram? Maybe one, maybe two. And I was recruiting for a webcam company, bro. I was talking to 30, 40 girls a week. Like every chick's on there because it's fun for them. They just get blown up all day long. It's validation. It's instant validation for these women. So, I mean, if you're an average looking girl, maybe not. But if you're a 10, you're on Instagram. Why would you not be? I mean, it can change your entire life. Like, why would you not be on Instagram? So, I mean, the Instagram's changed the game. So from a game perspective, it's become a lot harder. And in many ways, Instagram can be your best friend.
Harder how?
Because I think that the idea that you're going to walk through life and stumble on a beautiful girl has disappeared. So I see this all the time on Twitter. I see all these game guys saying, day game guys, I met a 9 at the mall and I day gamed her, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you a fact of life. You're not meeting a 9 at the mall in Milwaukee, bro. The 9 is on a helicopter the 9's in a helicopter in Singapore. The 9's on a boat in Dubai. The 9's with the Miami Dolphins players in a Lamborghini. The 9's got swooped up long ago by the global marketplace. Like, you may think she's a 9, but she's a 5 or a 6. You just don't understand the genuine scale of females. Beautiful females are not as accessible as they were.
So what's a guy to do?
Well, this is it. Beautiful females aren't going to the normal dive bar and just waiting for a dude to talk to them. Like, why would they? They can just, if they want a date any day of the week, they load up their Instagram profile, they see who's messaged them with a blue tick, or who's messaged with a bunch of followers, or who messaged them with a profile that looks interesting, and they can get their date. Or even if they don't want a date, even if they're just a bit sad and want some validation, they can just reply to a few dudes. It's changed everything. So I teach my guys all the time, look, your Instagram profile is probably the easiest way to get laid today. Instagram's the ultimate dating tool. Even if you haven't got an interesting life, if you take cool pictures and you take a lot in a few different places, make it look like you travel, even if you cheat and buy followers, who gives a shit? Make yourself look like an interesting person. You'll talk to more girls through Instagram DMs than you ever will in a career of day game.
So you're saying if you have a cool looking Instagram and you just do enough DMs, it should work. I mean, but what about your girlfriend, you're saying, who gets messaged every 3 minutes? How are you supposed to, even if you have a cool Instagram, there's a ton of guys who have cool Instagrams. How would you break through that?
Well, this is the thing. Women live on Instagram. Have you ever seen a girl on holiday? All she does is take 1,000 photos for her Instagram and then sit there and scroll up and down. They read everything. They may not reply, but they read it. So, and I'm not saying that, like, obviously you don't have day game. I'm obviously saying you can't meet girls other places. Obviously you need to have good game, because if you meet them in person, you need to be interesting, funny. All those things need to happen. I'm just saying, people ask me all the time, like, oh, Tate, what's Romania like for day game? I was like, there's no day game here. Like, the beautiful girls in Bucharest are with mob bosses and exclusive clubs you're not going to get in. Like, you're not walking the streets and running into a 10 anywhere in the world nowadays. I really don't think it happens like that anymore. I think Instagram is what killed it. The reason I'm mentioning Instagram is it's accelerated the process of women just, disappearing. They go to the airport, they go where they want to go, and the idea that they're on a table somewhere. You go into the clubs in Dubai. I was just recently in White. I spent $10,000 on that table. And the people next to me spent $10,000. People next to me spent $10,000, and the girls on my table, no one else could really get to, and I couldn't get to theirs. It's all sectioned off, and it's just how the way the game's kind of changing. It's just the way the world is, and women are a valuable commodity. Beauty. This is the thing. Beauty is a commodity. It's not fair.
But it's always been a commodity.
But it's always been a commodity. So I see this all the time from like red pill guys. They'll say like, oh, a billionaire is dating some 19-year-old bimbo. I said, well, I'll tell you what, that 19-year-old bimbo is just as valuable as that billionaire. It may not be fair. She may have got it easy, and we may not like to admit it, but she got the genetic gifts that make her just as valuable as Mr. Rich Guy. And this is the reality of the world. So beauty is absolutely a commodity. And for every commodity, there has to be an exchange. What can you offer in exchange?
Suscríbete a mi canal, dale like. En la descripción te doy los detalles de cómo yo te puedo ayudar con ellas. Compártelo por favor. Gracias.